There are certain mistakes that don't destroy your life immediately. They don't announce themselves. They don't come with warnings. They happen quietly, in public. A sentence you didn't need to say, an emotion you didn't need to show, a truth you revealed too early, and the moment passes. But something changes. People don't confront you. They don't argue with you. They don't even explain what shifted. They simply adjust how they see you. Power is not lost in dramatic failures. It is lost in small, public moments where you give away control without realizing it. This book is not about morality. It is not about being good, honest, or authentic. It is about how power actually works when eyes are watching. Because public space is not neutral. Public space is a stage. And every time you step onto that stage, something invisible is being judged. Your self-control, your emotional discipline, your awareness of human nature. Most people believe transparency builds trust. They believe expressing everything makes them relatable. They believe explaining themselves makes them respected. That belief is the reason they remain powerless. In reality, the world does not reward openness. It rewards composure. It does not reward expression. It rewards restraint. And it does not respect explanations. It respects silence backed by certainty. Machiavelli understood this centuries ago, not because he was cruel, but because he observed humans without illusions. He saw that people don't follow the most honest person in the room. They follow the most controlled one. They don't fear the loudest voice. They fear the calmest presence. They don't respect those who reveal everything. They respect those who reveal nothing, yet remain unmoved. In public, your words are not just communication. They are signals. Signals of status, signals of confidence, signals of whether you are leading or being led. Every unnecessary apology lowers you. Every emotional outburst exposes you. Every explanation hands over leverage. And the tragedy is this: most people never realize they are giving power away. They think they are just talking. They think they are just being real. They think they are just expressing themselves. But power doesn't care about intention. It cares about perception. This book exists for one reason: to show you the invisible rules that govern public behavior. Rules that are never taught. Rules that are never spoken aloud. Rules that powerful people follow instinctively, while others violate them daily. You will learn why silence is more intimidating than anger, why calm is more dominant than confidence, why mystery protects you better than honesty ever could. You will understand why powerful individuals never explain their philosophy, never broadcast their plans, never seek validation, and never expose their inner world in public, not because they are hiding, but because they are protecting leverage. By the end of this book, you will stop performing in public. You will stop reacting. You will stop leaking power through words, emotions, and unnecessary truths. You will begin to move differently, speak less, but with weight, remain visible, but unreadable. This is not about becoming cold. It is about becoming untouchable. And once you see these rules, you will never unsee them again. Chapter 2. Never reveal. Your next move power does not announce itself. It arrives quietly, settles into the room, and lets others feel its presence without ever explaining what it plans to do next. One of the fastest ways people lose authority, socially, professionally, and psychologically, is by revealing their next move before it happens. They speak too early. They explain too much. They confuse visibility with strength. In reality, the moment you announce your intentions, you surrender control. Most people reveal their plans because it feels productive. Saying "I'm about to do this" creates the illusion of progress. It gives emotional relief. It invites validation. But psychologically, it does something dangerous. It converts potential power into exposed vulnerability. When you reveal your next move, 3 things happen simultaneously. First, you invite interference. Human nature is not neutral. Once people know where you are going, they consciously or unconsciously react. Some will compete. Some will sabotage. Some will discourage you under the disguise of concern. Even well-meaning people dilute momentum by adding doubt, silence, protects energy. Explanation leaks it. Second, you dissipate internal drive. The human brain rewards declaration, almost the same way it rewards execution. When you tell people what you're going to do, you experience a false sense of completion. Motivation drops. Urgency fades. What should have remained sharp becomes dull. Third, you lose narrative control. Once your plan is public, it no longer belongs to you. Others begin interpreting it, judging it, reshaping it, and attaching expectations to it. If you succeed, they claim they knew it. If you fail, they analyze your mistake. Either way, your move is no longer silent, it is exposed. Powerful individuals understand a core psychological truth: silence keeps options open. When no one knows your next move, you retain flexibility. You can pivot without explanation. You can accelerate without warning. You can withdraw without embarrassment. Silence preserves freedom. This is why leaders, strategists, and high-status individuals rarely announce plans. They let results introduce them. Look closely at people who command respect without effort. They speak in outcomes, not intentions. They don't say "I'm thinking about." They say nothing, then act. Their silence creates anticipation. Their unpredictability creates gravity. Contrast this with people who constantly explain themselves. They narrate every decision. They justify every delay. They defend every choice. This behavior signals insecurity, not clarity. It tells others, "I need you to understand me." Power never asks to be understood. Publicly revealing your next move also exposes something deeper: your emotional dependence on external approval. You are not sharing information, you are seeking reassurance. And once people sense that need, the power dynamic shifts immediately. Machiavelli warned against this centuries ago, not because secrecy is immoral, but because human nature responds to mystery with respect and to transparency with entitlement. When people know your plan, they feel licensed to comment on it. When they don't, they observe instead. Observation is power. Commentary is weakness. Silence forces others to reveal themselves. When you say less, people talk more. They project, they speculate, they expose their intentions, fears, and positions. You gain information while giving none away. This asymmetry is where leverage lives. Another subtle danger of revealing your next move is emotional accountability. Once you announce something publicly, you feel pressure to follow through, even if circumstances change. You become trapped by your own words. Silence allows intelligence. Speech locks you into ego. Strategic individuals never trap themselves. They understand that timing matters more than transparency. The right action at the wrong time is failure. Silence buys time. Time sharpens judgment. This does not mean becoming deceptive. It means becoming disciplined. You are not hiding. You are choosing not to leak power prematurely. There is also a social hierarchy embedded in who explains and who doesn't. Lower status individuals are expected to explain. Higher status individuals are allowed to remain vague. When you stop explaining your next move, you subconsciously elevate your position. People begin to watch instead of question. They wait instead of interrupt. They adjust instead of challenge. This is not manipulation. It is psychological reality. The strongest position in any interaction is to be unreadable but consistent, calm but undefined, present but not exposed. When others cannot predict your next move, they cannot control you. And control is always the hidden currency of power. The world is full of noise. Everyone is talking. Everyone is sharing. Everyone is broadcasting plans, emotions, struggles, and strategies. In such a world, silence becomes rare, and rarity creates value. Your silence should not be empty. It should be intentional. Speak when action is complete. Reveal when leverage is secured. Explain only when explanation benefits you. Until then, let outcomes speak. Because once people see results, explanations become unnecessary. And once explanations are unnecessary, authority is already established. In the next chapter, We will go deeper into the weapon most people fear, but powerful individuals master instinctively, the psychology of silence itself, and why saying nothing often communicates more than any argument ever could. Chapter 3. The Psychology of Silence. Silence is not the absence of communication. Silence is communication, often the most powerful form of it. Most people misunderstand silence because they associate power with speaking, explaining, and asserting. From childhood, we are conditioned to believe that if we don't speak up, we lose. If we don't respond, we appear weak. If we don't explain ourselves, others will misunderstand us. This conditioning is false. In reality, silence shifts power because it disrupts expectations. Human interactions are built on predictable patterns. Someone attacks, you defend. Someone questions, you explain. Someone provokes, you react. These patterns give the other person control because they know what response is coming next. Silence breaks the script. When you remain silent where a response is expected, the psychological pressure transfers instantly to the other person. They feel exposed, uncertain, uncomfortable. They begin to fill the vacuum with words, emotions, or mistakes. This is known as the vacuum effect of silence. The human mind cannot tolerate unanswered tension. When silence appears, people rush to resolve it, often against their own interests. They over-explain. They soften their position. They reveal intentions they would have otherwise concealed. Silence turns the observer into the judge. This is why powerful negotiators, interrogators, and leaders use silence deliberately. They understand that whoever speaks first after tension loses leverage. But silence is not passive. It is controlled restraint. There are different types of silence, and each sends a different psychological signal. The first is calm silence. This is the silence of emotional control. When someone criticizes you and you do not rush to defend yourself, you signal confidence. You communicate, "This does not threaten me." Calm silence suggests inner stability, and stability commands respect. The second is deliberate silence. This is used when decisions are being made. Instead of responding immediately, you pause. You let the moment breathe. This signals authority. High-status individuals are allowed time. Low-status individuals are expected to respond quickly. Speed is submission. Pausing is power. The third is strategic silence. This silence is used to extract information. When someone speaks and you do not immediately reply, they often continue talking, revealing more than they intended. Silence here acts like a mirror, encouraging projection. Most people confess not because they are questioned, but because silence makes them uncomfortable. Then there is defensive silence, often misunderstood. This is silence in the face of provocation. When someone tries to bait you emotionally, through insults, accusations, or passive aggression, and you remain silent, you deny them reward. Provocation feeds on reaction. Without reaction, it collapses. Emotionally immature people cannot tolerate silence. They need noise to feel in control. Emotionally mature individuals are comfortable with silence because they are not dependent on validation. Silence also protects you from saying things you cannot take back. Words once released create consequences. Silence keeps options open. It allows you to observe, assess, and choose deliberately. This is why silence is closely tied to intelligence. Highly intelligent individuals tend to speak less, not because they lack thoughts, but because they understand the cost of words. Every statement commits you to a position. Silence keeps you uncommitted until clarity arrives. There is also a neurological element to silence. When someone talks continuously, the listener's brain remains passive. But when silence appears, the brain activates. The listener begins thinking, interpreting, filling gaps. Silence forces engagement. This is why silence can feel intimidating. It demands attention. In social hierarchies, silence often signals dominance. The person who talks less is perceived as higher status because they are not seeking approval, attention, or validation. They are comfortable being observed. Silence says, "I don't need to convince you." Contrast this with people who over-explain. Over-explaining is a form of self-defense. It signals fear of being misunderstood, judged, or rejected. The more someone explains, the more they reveal insecurity. Powerful individuals do not over-explain. They state, or they stay silent. Silence also creates mystique. Humans are drawn to what they cannot fully understand. Predictability breeds familiarity, but mystery breeds fascination. When people cannot read you easily, they pay closer attention. This is not about manipulation. It is about self-mastery. Silence requires control over impulses, the impulse to defend, to correct, to justify, to react. Every time you resist these impulses, you strengthen internal discipline. And internal discipline is the foundation of external power. However, silence must be intentional. Random silence can appear confused or withdrawn. Intentional silence feels grounded, calm, and present. Body language matters. Eye contact matters. Posture matters. Silence works best when paired with stillness and composure. Silence without composure feels weak. Silence with composure feels dominant. This is why monks, stoics, and warriors across history trained silence, not as absence, but as presence. The world rewards those who control their inner noise before trying to control external outcomes. Silence also protects your identity. When you speak less, people project onto you. And projection gives you information. You learn how others think, what they fear, what they desire. Those who talk constantly reveal themselves. Those who listen silently learn everything. In a culture obsessed with expression, silence becomes rebellion. It becomes a filter. It separates those who react from those who observe. And observers always hold the advantage. Silence is not weakness. Silence is restraint. Restraint is power. In the next chapter, we will explore how silence becomes most powerful when paired with emotional control, and why mastering your inner reactions makes you untouchable in the outer world. Chapter 4. Never lose your temper. Anger feels powerful in the moment. It raises the voice, tightens the body, and creates the illusion of dominance. But in reality, anger is one of the fastest ways to surrender control, especially in public. The moment you lose your temper, you reveal something priceless to the world, your trigger. And once your trigger is visible, you are no longer in charge of the interaction. Most people believe anger commands respect. They confuse fear with authority. They think that showing intensity will force others to back down. Sometimes it does, temporarily. But psychologically, anger always costs more than it gives. Because anger is not power. Anger is exposure. When you lose your temper, you communicate three things instantly. First, you show emotional dependence. You reveal that external events or people have the ability to disturb your inner state. This tells others that your stability is conditional, and anything conditional can be manipulated. Second, you surrender strategic thinking. Anger narrows perception. The brain shifts from analysis to reaction. Nuance disappears. Long-term consequences are ignored. In that state, people say things they regret, make decisions they can't reverse, and reveal information they should have protected. Third, you hand control to the observer. Once others see that anger moves you, they know how to move you again. They learn exactly which buttons to press. From that moment on, every interaction is tilted against you. Powerful individuals understand a brutal truth. Whoever controls emotion controls the situation. This is why seasoned leaders, negotiators, and strategists rarely raise their voices. Not because they lack feeling, but because they refuse to leak leverage. Anger is predictable. Calm is unsettling. When someone expects rage and receives silence instead, the psychological balance shifts. The aggressor becomes unsure. The provoker loses momentum. The crowd begins to reassess who actually holds authority. Silence after provocation is not weakness. It is dominance delayed. Public anger is especially damaging because it is witnessed. It creates a permanent impression. Even if you later apologize or explain, the image remains. Someone who can be emotionally destabilized. And public memory is unforgiving. Anger also destroys credibility. When emotions flare, truth becomes secondary. Observers, Stop evaluating the content of what you're saying and focus on how you're behaving. The message gets lost. The emotion becomes the headline. This is why calm individuals are trusted more, even when they are wrong. And angry individuals are doubted, even when they are right. Self-control is persuasive. Loss of control is suspicious. Many people justify their anger by calling it honesty. They say, "At least I'm real." But authenticity without discipline is chaos. Power requires refinement. Raw emotion is not strength. It is unfinished energy. Stoic thinkers understood this centuries ago. They taught that anger is not caused by events, but by interpretation. Two people can face the same insult. One remains calm, the other explodes. The difference is not circumstance, it is inner mastery. Those who master their interpretations master themselves. Anger also creates escalation. One raised voice invites another. One insult invites retaliation. Before long, the situation spirals beyond intention. And in escalation, no one wins, especially not in public. Strategic minds avoid escalation at all costs. They understand that the goal is not to express emotion, but to shape outcomes. Another hidden cost of anger is that it forces you into defense mode. Once angry, you begin justifying yourself, explaining motives, and proving points. You move from authority into reaction, from leader into participant. Control dissolves. Calm, on the other hand, creates asymmetry. When you remain composed while others lose control, the contrast is devastating. The calm individual appears larger, heavier, more grounded. The emotional one appears smaller and unstable. People instinctively side with composure. This is why courtrooms value calm testimony, why leaders speak slowly in crises, why seasoned professionals pause before responding. Calm is interpreted as competence. Anger is interpreted as insecurity. This does not mean suppressing emotion. Suppression builds pressure. The goal is regulation, not denial. Powerful individuals feel anger, but they do not let it decide timing, tone, or direction. They choose when to act. Timing is everything. There are moments when firmness is required, when boundaries must be enforced. But firmness does not require fury. Authority does not require shouting. The most feared statements in history were delivered quietly. Calm certainty is terrifying. Anger also locks you into the present moment. It traps you in reaction rather than allowing foresight. Calm creates space. Space allows perspective. Perspective enables strategy. Those who think long-term cannot afford short-term emotional releases. There is also a social hierarchy in emotional expression. Lower status individuals are allowed emotional outbursts because they are expected to be reactive. Higher status individuals are expected to be controlled. When you lose your temper, you unconsciously place yourself lower in the hierarchy. This is not moral judgment. It is social psychology. Mastery of temper is mastery of perception. The most dangerous individuals are not those who rage, but those who remain calm while others lose control. They observe, they wait, they choose precisely when to speak or act. And when they do, it matters. If you want to command respect in public, your first discipline must be emotional containment, not coldness, not repression, but deliberate restraint. Anger gives others power over you. Calm takes it back. In the next chapter, we will examine another silent way people give away status without realizing it, by apologizing, when no apology is required, and how unnecessary submission reshapes power dynamics in subtle but permanent ways. Chapter 5. Never apologize when it isn't necessary. An apology feels polite. It feels civilized. It feels like the fastest way to restore peace. But in the psychology of power, unnecessary apologies do something far more dangerous than people realize. They quietly reposition you as subordinate. Most people apologize not because they are wrong, but because they are uncomfortable. They apologize to ease tension, to avoid conflict, to appear agreeable, or to be liked. In doing so, they mistake social smoothness for strength. Power does not operate on comfort. Power operates on perception. When you apologize without cause, You send a subtle signal, "I accept fault," even when it isn't mine. That signal doesn't disappear after the moment passes. It lodges itself into how others categorize you, and categorization is permanent. There are two types of apologies. One is rooted in responsibility. The other is rooted in insecurity. The first strengthens authority. The second erodes it. A necessary apology, when you have genuinely crossed a boundary, made an error, or caused harm, can actually elevate respect. It demonstrates accountability, confidence, and moral clarity. Powerful people are not afraid to own real mistakes, but unnecessary apologies do the opposite. They communicate uncertainty about your own position. They imply that you are unsure whether you have the right to stand where you stand. And uncertainty invites pressure. In public, apologies are not interpreted as kindness. They are interpreted as hierarchy adjustments. The person who apologizes lowers themselves. The person who receives it is elevated, even if they did nothing to deserve it. This is why over-apologizing quickly turns into a habit of submission. People who apologize excessively often believe they are being considerate. In reality, they are training others how to treat them. Every apology teaches people what they can demand, question, or criticize next time. The brain of the observer takes notes. Apologies also create asymmetry in conflict. The moment you apologize, the focus shifts away from facts and toward blame. Even if the issue was mutual, your apology reframes the narrative as your fault. And once a narrative is set, reversing it is nearly impossible. Powerful individuals understand something uncomfortable. Peace bought through self-blame is fragile. It does not resolve tension. It postpones it while weakening your position. Another hidden danger of unnecessary apologies is that they invite escalation. Once you apologize, some people feel encouraged to push further. They add conditions. They express dissatisfaction. They ask for more concessions. What began as a simple moment turns into a power grab. This is not because people are cruel. It is because human behavior follows opportunity. Apologies also distort self-perception. When you apologize for existing, speaking, interrupting, or asserting boundaries, you begin to internalize guilt that does not belong to you. Over time, this creates a shrinking presence. Your voice softens. Your posture changes. Your decisions become hesitant. You start asking permission where none is required. Power drains quietly. There is also a social double standard at play. High-status individuals are rarely expected to apologize for minor inconveniences. Their confidence reframes friction as normal. Low-status individuals feel pressure to smooth every ripple. When you apologize reflexively, you unconsciously place yourself into the second category. This is why leaders are careful with apologies. They don't scatter them casually. They deploy them deliberately. They understand that apologies are tools, not emotional reflexes. Silence, in many cases, is more powerful than apology. If someone challenges you unfairly and you apologize, you validate their accusation. If you remain calm and say nothing, or simply restate your position, you neutralize the challenge without conceding ground. This is not arrogance. It is clarity. Another overlooked aspect is timing. Even when an apology is appropriate, timing determines its effect. Immediate, emotional apologies often appear reactive. Measured apologies, delivered after reflection, appear intentional and strong. Power respects intention. It doubts impulse. People who apologize impulsively often confuse emotional relief with resolution. They want the discomfort to end, so they sacrifice leverage. But power-minded individuals are willing to tolerate temporary discomfort to protect long-term positioning. They do not rush to relieve tension at their own expense. Unnecessary apologies also blur boundaries. When you apologize for setting limits, you weaken those limits. The other person learns that boundaries are negotiable and can be challenged. Strong boundaries are stated, not apologized for. This does not mean becoming rude, cold, or dismissive. It means separating courtesy from submission. You can be respectful without being self-erasing. A calm statement can replace an apology. A pause can replace an explanation. Confidence can replace guilt. For example, instead of apologizing for disagreeing, You can say, "I see it differently." Instead of apologizing for needing time, you can say, "I'll respond when I'm ready." These responses maintain dignity without escalating conflict. Powerful communication is precise, not apologetic. There is also an internal shift required to stop unnecessary apologies. You must become comfortable with being misunderstood temporarily. Not everyone will approve. Not everyone will be pleased. And that is acceptable. Seeking universal approval is incompatible with authority. When you stop apologizing without reason, something changes. People begin adjusting to you instead of the other way around. They weigh their words more carefully. They approach you with clearer intent. Your presence becomes firmer. Apologies should never be used to manage other people's emotions. They should be used only to address genuine wrongdoing. Anything beyond that is emotional labor that weakens you. This chapter is not an argument against humility. It is an argument against self-reduction. True humility comes from strength, not fear. When you apologize only when necessary, your words regain weight. Your silence regains meaning. Your presence regains authority. And in the subtle economy of power, that authority compounds quietly. In the next chapter, we will examine another form of exposure that costs people status without them realizing it. Revealing financial details, whether good or bad, and why ambiguity is often the most intelligent form of protection in public life. Chapter 6. Never reveal your financial state. Money is one of the most emotionally charged signals in public life. Not because of what it buys, but because of what it implies. The moment you reveal your financial state, whether high or low, you trigger judgments that have nothing to do with truth and everything to do with power. People don't respond to numbers, they respond to narratives. And once a financial narrative is attached to you, it becomes difficult, sometimes impossible, to remove. This is why revealing your financial situation is not transparency, it is exposure. Most people assume honesty about money builds trust. They believe that sharing struggles earns empathy, and sharing success earns admiration. In reality, both extremes weaken your position in different ways. Poverty invites pity or invisibility. Wealth invites envy, expectation, and predation. Neither invites respect. Human psychology reacts to money faster than it reacts to character. When people perceive you as financially struggling, they unconsciously downgrade your authority. Your ideas are questioned more. Your boundaries are tested more easily. Your time is valued less. Sympathy may appear on the surface, but it rarely translates into leverage. On the other hand, public displays of wealth create a different problem. They attract attention, but not the kind that serves you. Envy sharpens. Expectations rise. People begin measuring you not by who you are, but by what you can provide. Your generosity is assumed. Your refusal is judged. Your success becomes a target. Powerful individuals understand a quiet rule. Financial ambiguity is protection. Ambiguity prevents others from categorizing you too quickly. It denies them a shortcut. Without clear financial signals, people are forced to engage with you, based on presence, competence, and behavior rather than assumptions. And assumptions are where power is lost. Public conversations about money often masquerade as relatability. People complain about bills, debt, or stress as a way to bond. But bonding through weakness creates fragile alliances. It invites advice, judgment, and unsolicited control. The listener may nod, but their perception shifts. Complaining about money signals lack of command. Similarly, broadcasting financial wins, new purchases, sudden upgrades, luxury experiences, signals volatility. It suggests a need for validation. It also creates a silent ledger in other people's minds. They start counting, comparing, resenting. What they don't do is respect. Money, when revealed, becomes a lever others can pull. They frame conversations differently. They justify requests. They rationalize pressure. Even well-meaning, people adjust their expectations once they believe they know your financial position. Ambiguity denies them that leverage. There is also a strategic dimension to financial silence. When others do not know what you have, They cannot predict your limits. They cannot calculate your desperation or your excess. They cannot decide whether to exploit or flatter you. Uncertainty forces caution. This is why old money rarely speaks about money. It doesn't need to. Stability speaks through restraint. Loudness suggests novelty. Silence suggests permanence. In negotiations, revealing financial constraints is one of the most common mistakes. The moment you say, "I can't afford," you anchor the interaction around weakness. The other party adjusts instantly. Options shrink. Terms harden. Respect diminishes. Powerful negotiators speak in outcomes, not limitations. Even in social settings, money talk is corrosive. It flattens complexity. Instead of being perceived as thoughtful, disciplined, or strategic, you become the one with money or the one without. Both labels reduce you. Reduction is the enemy of authority. Another overlooked danger is internal. When you constantly verbalize your financial state, you reinforce it psychologically. Complaints strengthen scarcity thinking. Bragging strengthens attachment to status. Both trap your identity in numbers. Silence keeps identity flexible. This does not mean living in secrecy or dishonesty. It means choosing context carefully. Financial vulnerability belongs in private, trusted relationships, not public arenas. Strategy belongs behind closed doors. Execution belongs in the open. Public is for results, not resources. There is also a social hierarchy encoded in who discusses money openly. Lower status individuals are expected to justify their finances. Higher status individuals are assumed to manage them competently. When you volunteer financial details, you unconsciously place yourself into the first category. Silence moves you upward. Powerful individuals allow others to wonder. They let curiosity work for them. Curiosity creates respect. Clarity invites judgment. This principle applies across cultures and eras. Warriors hid their supply lines. Kings concealed treasuries. Corporations guard balance sheets. The pattern is consistent. Those who protect resources maintain control. Money is a resource. Information about money is leverage. You do not owe the public clarity about your finances. You owe yourself protection. In practice, this means declining to engage in financial comparisons. It means redirecting conversations. It means refusing to explain lifestyle choices. It means being comfortable with others, not knowing where you stand. Comfort with ambiguity is strength. When someone asks directly about your financial state, your response does not need to be defensive or deceptive. It can be neutral, vague, calm. I manage what I need to. I'm focused on my work. These answers close the door without slamming it. Doors that slam create enemies. Doors that close quietly preserve peace. Financial silence also sharpens your awareness of others. When you don't reveal your position, people often reveal theirs. They talk about their struggles, their desires, their insecurities. You learn without exposing yourself. Again, asymmetry appears. Asymmetry is power. The goal is not secrecy for secrecy's sake. The goal is control over narrative. When you choose when and how financial information is revealed, you choose the terms of engagement. In public life, terms matter. This chapter is not a warning against generosity. Generosity can be powerful, but only when it is chosen, not assumed. When people know what you have, generosity becomes expectation. When they don't, generosity becomes impact. Impact always outweighs expectation. By maintaining financial ambiguity, you protect your autonomy. You move through spaces without being sized up incorrectly. You allow your behavior, not your bank balance, to define your authority. And authority that rests on behavior is far more durable than authority borrowed from money. In the next chapter, we will explore another subtle way people surrender control without noticing, by engaging in gossip and casual judgment, and why silence in those moments quietly elevates your position above the noise. Chapter 7. Never gossip. Gossip feels harmless. It often disguises itself as bonding, honesty, or concern. But in the psychology of power, gossip is one of the clearest signals of low status. and one of the fastest ways to destroy authority without realizing it. The moment you participate in gossip, you step into a losing position. Not because the information is false, but because the act itself reveals more about you than about the person being discussed. Powerful individuals understand a simple truth. Those who talk about people are being watched more closely than those who talk about ideas, actions, and outcomes. Gossip is not communication, it is leakage. When you gossip, you communicate three things instantly. First, you show that you cannot be trusted with information. If you speak about others when they are absent, the listener assumes, correctly, that you will speak about them when they are absent as well. Trust erodes quietly, but permanently. Second, you reveal insecurity. Gossip often emerges from comparison, resentment, or the need to feel superior. Even when wrapped in humor, it signals that your sense of value depends on diminishing someone else. Third, you surrender strategic distance. Instead of observing dynamics, you insert yourself emotionally into them. You stop being an analyst and become a participant. Participants are visible. Analysts are powerful. Power lives with those who observe without reacting. Most people gossip because silence feels awkward. They fill space with judgment. They assume sharing opinions creates connection. In reality, gossip creates shallow alliances built on negativity. Alliances that collapse the moment circumstances shift. These are not allies, they are liabilities. Gossip also has a dangerous ripple effect. Information never stays where it starts. What you say travels. It mutates. It returns, often distorted. And when it does, you are not judged by your intent, but by the damage. Intent does not matter in social power. Impact does. High-status individuals rarely speak negatively about others in public, even when criticism is justified. They understand that public judgment lowers the judge more than the judged. Critique, when necessary, is delivered privately, precisely, and without emotion. Public gossip is sloppy power. Private discretion is refined power. There is also a hierarchy embedded in who gossips. People at the bottom talk about people. People at the top talk about systems, decisions, and consequences. When you gossip, you unconsciously align yourself with the first group. Alignment shapes perception. Silence during gossip is one of the most underrated power moves. When others are speaking critically and you remain neutral, you immediately separate yourself. People notice. They recalibrate how they see you. You are no longer one of them. You become someone whose approval is uncertain. Uncertainty creates respect. Silence also forces projection. When you don't contribute, others continue talking, often revealing their own motives, biases, and insecurities. You gain information while giving none away. Once again, asymmetry appears. Another overlooked cost of gossip is cognitive. Gossip trains your mind to focus on drama instead of strategy. It pulls attention downward. Over time, it reshapes identity. You become someone who reacts rather than someone who plans. Strategic minds guard their attention fiercely. Gossip also entangles you emotionally. Once you judge someone publicly, you become invested in that judgment. If new information appears, changing your stance becomes difficult. Ego gets involved. Silence preserves flexibility. Speech creates commitment. Power prefers flexibility. Many people justify gossip by calling it truth-telling. They say, "I'm just being honest." But honesty without discipline is exposure. Truth, when weaponized casually, loses its power. Those who wield truth strategically choose timing, audience, and intent. Truth spoken carelessly becomes noise. There is also a social danger in aligning against absent individuals. Today's shared enemy often becomes tomorrow's ally, or worse, your superior. When that happens, previous words return with interest. Silence leaves no evidence. This is why experienced professionals rarely comment on internal politics. They let others reveal their positions. They remain unreadable. And when the landscape shifts, they are still standing. Gossip also undermines moral authority. If you speak poorly of others, your praise becomes suspect. People wonder whether your approval is sincere or conditional. Consistency disappears. Credibility weakens. Power requires consistency. Another subtle effect of gossip is that it trains others how to engage with you. If you welcome negative talk, people will bring negativity. If you shut it down with silence or redirection, people adjust. Over time, you become associated with discretion. Discretion is magnetic. This does not mean you must confront gossip aggressively. Confrontation creates friction. Friction creates visibility. Silence, topic changes, or calm neutrality are usually enough. Powerful individuals don't correct, they redirect. They choose what deserves attention. Never underestimate how much people notice restraint. In a world addicted to commentary, the person who does not comment stands out. They appear composed, thoughtful, unbothered. Unbothered is power. Gossip also reduces you to the present moment. It keeps you focused on who did what, who said what, who offended whom. Strategic thinking requires distance from immediacy. Silence creates that distance. Distance creates clarity. When you stop gossiping, something interesting happens. People begin trusting you with more meaningful information, not rumors but signals, not opinions but facts. They sense that you won't misuse what you hear. Trust flows toward restraint. This chapter is not about moral superiority. It is about self-preservation. You do not avoid gossip because you are virtuous. You avoid it because you are strategic. Words spoken casually can cost years of positioning. Silence costs nothing and often pays dividends. If you want to elevate your status in any environment, start by removing yourself from negative commentary. Speak when there is purpose. Remain silent when there is none. Let others exhaust themselves with noise. You will rise quietly. In the next chapter, we will examine another subtle trap that weakens authority without people noticing, publicly explaining personal philosophies and beliefs, and why embodying principles silently creates far more influence than preaching them aloud. Chapter 8. Never explain your philosophy. Explaining your philosophy feels noble. It feels intelligent. It feels like clarity. But in the psychology of power, publicly explaining your beliefs, values, or moral code does something quietly destructive. It turns your identity into a target. Most people explain their philosophy because they want to be understood. They want others to see them as principled, thoughtful, or ethical. They believe that by articulating what they stand for, they gain respect. In reality, they gain scrutiny. The moment you explain your philosophy, you invite three dangerous things: judgment, contradiction, and expectation. First, judgment. Once your beliefs are spoken, people begin measuring you against them. Every future action is evaluated not on context, but on consistency. One small deviation, and you are labeled a hypocrite. Silence protects you from unnecessary trials. Second, contradiction. Philosophies attract debate. People challenge them not to understand, but to assert themselves. What you intended as self-expression becomes a battleground for egos. Power dissolves the moment you defend your worldview. Third, expectation. When you explain who you are, people decide how you should behave. They box you in. They assume entitlement to your time, energy, and decisions based on your declared values. Freedom disappears. Power requires freedom. Strong individuals understand a subtle rule. Philosophy should be inferred, not announced. History does not remember thinkers for what they claimed to believe. It remembers them for how they behaved under pressure. Actions reveal values more accurately than explanations ever could. This is why the most influential figures rarely preached their principles. They embodied them. Their silence forced others to interpret. Interpretation creates engagement. Engagement creates respect. When you explain your philosophy, you remove mystery. Mystery is leverage. People are drawn to what they cannot fully decode. When everything is laid out clearly, interest fades. But when values are revealed gradually through behavior, curiosity deepens. Curiosity is power. There is also a psychological hierarchy at play. Those who explain are subconsciously perceived as seeking agreement. Those who remain silent appear self-contained. Self-containment signals confidence. Confidence signals authority. Authority does not ask permission to exist. Publicly explaining your philosophy also exposes emotional investment. It shows that you care how others perceive your inner world. And once that care is detected, influence weakens. Others sense that they can provoke, challenge, or destabilize you by attacking your beliefs. Beliefs become pressure points. Powerful individuals keep pressure points hidden. Another overlooked danger is rigidity. When you explain your philosophy, you fossilize it. You make it harder to evolve without appearing inconsistent. Silence allows growth. Silence allows adaptation. Silence allows you to refine your thinking privately. Strategic minds value evolution over image. This does not mean having no principles. It means refusing to turn principles into performance. Philosophy becomes weak when it is spoken too often. It turns into virtue signaling. It loses depth. It becomes predictable. Predictability invites control. Control flows toward those who remain unpredictable. There is also a social cost. Explaining your philosophy often places you above others morally, whether you intend it or not. This creates quiet resentment. People feel judged. Defensiveness emerges. Influence collapses. Those who influence effectively do not preach. They demonstrate. Consider how silence operates here. When you act with consistency without explanation, people begin narrating your philosophy for you. They attribute values. They fill gaps. And once they invest in interpretation, they become aligned. Alignment that emerges internally is far stronger than alignment forced through words. Silence also filters your audience. Those who are perceptive will notice patterns. Those who are not will drift away. This separation strengthens your position. You are no longer trying to be understood by everyone. Power never appeals to everyone. Explaining your philosophy also creates a false sense of control. You believe that if others understand you, they will treat you better. But understanding does not guarantee respect. Often, it does the opposite. Respect is not earned through explanation. It is earned through consistency under pressure. The need to explain often comes from fear. Fear of misinterpretation, fear of rejection, fear of conflict. But power requires tolerance for misunderstanding. You must allow others to not fully grasp you. Being partially misunderstood is a form of protection. There is also a strategic advantage to silence in conflict. When someone attacks your values and you refuse to explain or defend them, you deny them the arena they seek. The attack loses oxygen. The aggressor appears obsessed. You remain grounded. Silence reframes the dynamic. This does not mean avoiding all discussion of ideas. Context matters. Private intellectual spaces are different from public arenas. The danger lies in public declarations where nuance is lost and performance replaces thought. Public space rewards restraint. Private space rewards depth. Powerful individuals choose carefully where their philosophy is discussed. They do not scatter it across every conversation. They do not turn identity into content. Identity is not content. It is foundation. Another key point, when you explain your philosophy, you create a checklist for manipulation. People learn what matters to you and use it strategically. Silence keeps your values intact and your leverage protected. Protection is not fear. It is intelligence. The strongest philosophies are those that never need defense. They are visible in decisions, boundaries, and reactions. They are felt, not argued. When you stop explaining your philosophy, something shifts. Conversations become shorter. Conflicts dissolve faster. People adjust rather than debate. You conserve energy. Your presence becomes heavier. Heaviness is authority. This chapter is not a call to secrecy for secrecy's sake. It is a call to embodiment. Let your values shape your behavior quietly. Let your principles guide your actions invisibly. Let others learn who you are by how you move, not by what you say. Because in the end, words convince only temporarily. Behavior convinces permanently. In the next chapter, we will explore the final and most subtle surrender of power, seeking validation, and why the need for approval is the last chain that keeps most people psychologically dependent. Chapter 9. Never seek validation. The desire for validation feels harmless, natural even. Everyone wants to be seen, acknowledged, appreciated. But in the psychology of power, seeking validation is the final and most dangerous surrender of control. The moment you seek validation, you hand authority over your worth to someone else. Validation is not just approval, it is permission. When you seek validation, you are silently asking others to confirm that you are acceptable, capable, or valuable. And the one who grants permission always holds power over the one who asks. Power never asks. Most people are trapped in a subtle loop. They act, wait for response, adjust behavior, repeat. Their confidence rises and falls based on reactions, likes, praise, or recognition. This loop creates psychological dependency. A dependent mind cannot be powerful. Validation seeking rewires your decision-making. You stop asking, "Is this right for me?" and start asking, "How will this be received?" That shift changes everything. Your actions become performative. Your identity becomes flexible. Your boundaries soften. You become manageable. The most dangerous part is that validation feels good. Dopamine is released when we are approved of. Compliments feel like fuel. Recognition feels like momentum. But it is borrowed momentum. Borrowed momentum collapses the moment approval disappears. People who rely on validation become emotionally fragile. A single criticism can undo months of confidence. Silence feels like rejection. Neutral reactions feel hostile. The nervous system stays on edge, scanning for signals. This is not strength. This is psychological exposure. Those who seek validation are predictable. Predictability is exploitable. Once people sense that you need approval, they can control you by withholding it. They can shape your behavior with praise or silence. You become programmable. Powerful individuals operate differently. They self-validate. Their sense of worth is internally anchored. Praise may be appreciated, but it is not required. Criticism may be noted, but it is not destabilizing. Their center does not move. Self-validation does not mean arrogance. It means clarity. It means you have defined your standards privately, and you measure yourself against them, not against reactions. This creates a psychological advantage. You are free. Freedom from validation allows you to act decisively. You speak when necessary. You remain silent when appropriate. You do not over-explain. You do not chase reassurance. You do not negotiate your value. Value that negotiates itself decreases. Validation seeking also distorts relationships. When you seek approval, you subtly place the other person above you. You defer. You adjust. You suppress disagreement. Over time, respect erodes. People rarely respect those who need them to feel whole. This is why powerful individuals often appear indifferent, not because they lack emotion, but because they refuse to outsource their identity. There is also a deeper psychological trap. Validation keeps you stuck in the past. You seek confirmation for who you were, not who you are becoming. Growth becomes difficult when you are attached to how others see you. Evolution requires detachment. When you stop seeking validation, discomfort appears. Silence feels heavier. Praise feels rarer. But this is a necessary withdrawal. Like breaking an addiction, the mind resists at first. Then something shifts. Your posture changes. Your speech slows. Your reactions become deliberate. You no longer rush to fill gaps or justify decisions. You allow others to sit with uncertainty. Uncertainty favors the grounded. Another subtle effect emerges. People start seeking your validation, not intentionally, but energetically. When you stop asking for approval, you stop signaling need. Need repels power. Absence of need attracts it. This reversal is not manipulation. It is alignment. Those who do not seek validation become reference points. Others observe them to calibrate behavior. They set the tone without demanding it. tone setting is power. Validation seeking also weakens boundaries. You tolerate disrespect to avoid disapproval. You overgive to be liked. You overagree to be accepted. Each compromise feels small, but together they erode self-respect. And self-respect is the foundation of authority. Authority begins the moment you decide that approval is optional. This does not mean becoming cold or detached from humanity. It means recognizing that connection and validation are not the same. True connection does not require approval. It requires authenticity. Authenticity thrives without applause. There is also a strategic layer. Those who seek validation reveal their insecurities openly. In competitive or hierarchical environments, this information is used, consciously or unconsciously, against them. Those who self-validate reveal nothing. Powerful individuals are not immune to doubt. They simply do not broadcast it. They process uncertainty privately and return composed. Composure is influence. When you stop seeking validation, you reclaim time, energy, and clarity. You stop checking reactions. You stop rethinking conversations. You stop shrinking or inflating yourself based on feedback. You become stable. Stability intimidates chaos. In public spaces, this stability creates gravity. People sense that you are not easily moved. You are not trying to impress. You are not auditioning. You are present, but not pleading. Presence without need is magnetic. The ultimate paradox is this: the less you seek validation, the more it arrives naturally. But by the time it does, you no longer depend on it. This chapter completes the core lesson of this book. Power is not something you demand, explain, or chase. It is something you withhold, protect, and embody. When you stop defending yourself, when you stop explaining yourself, when you stop seeking validation, you become internally sovereign. And sovereignty is the rarest form of power in the modern world. You've reached the end of this book, but not the end of the transformation it demands. What you've learned here is not about dominance, arrogance, or control over others. It is about control over yourself. You've seen how power quietly leaks away when you explain too much, react too fast, reveal too openly, or seek approval from the wrong places. You've learned that strength is not loud, and authority is not dramatic. True power is calm, measured, restrained. This book was never asking you to become cold. It was asking you to become centered. Silence is not weakness. Restraint is not fear. Distance is not arrogance. They are choices. When you stop defending yourself, you conserve energy. When you stop explaining yourself, you protect clarity. When you stop seeking validation, you reclaim ownership of your worth. From this point forward, you don't need to announce who you are. You don't need to convince. You don't need to perform. Let your actions speak slowly. Let your boundaries speak clearly. Let your silence speak loudly. Some people will misunderstand you, and that is fine. Some will project onto you. Let them. Some will feel uncomfortable around you. That is not your burden. Power does not require universal approval. It requires internal alignment. If this book resonated with you, don't rush to talk about it. Apply it. Observe what changes when you speak less, react less, and reveal less. Watch how people adjust. Watch how your presence shifts. Watch how control returns, quietly. And if you want to continue this journey of psychological mastery, inner strength, and self-sovereignty, stay connected with us here at Mindfire Books. Subscribe to the channel, not because we asked, but because you recognize value when you see it. Until the next book, remember this: power is not taken. Power is not explained. Power is embodied.